Hi, I'm Craig Jellick, and today I want to tell you about three big updates in the 0.15 release of Obot that just landed. The first update you won't notice as a new feature in the UI because it's a re-architecture. At the heart of this re-architecture is the Obot gateway. This component lives centrally as part of the Obot control plane, and as you can see here, historically it's been responsible for quite a lot. We've now moved a lot of that functionality out so that the gateway just handles authentication, ensuring the server is deployed, and then proxying requests to the downstream MCP server. In this form, the gateway is just a dumb proxy, sending requests along and returning responses. So where did all the other functionality go? It now lives in a shim layer that sits between the gateway and the downstream MCP servers. This shim is built on top of another technology of ours, Nanobot, which is itself an MCP client and a server. The shim intercepts requests, it performs token exchange with the Obot gateway to get any additional configurations that's necessary, and then it talks to the downstream MCP server. This re-architecture is easier to extend, it's more standards compliant, it's secure by default, and at its core, it's simpler. We're really excited for how this sets us up for future changes. Our lead developer, Donnie Adams, has written up a blog about this journey in re-architecting this feature. You can check it out by going to obot.ai, and I would highly encourage you to do so. The next feature I want to talk about is branding. So now you can rebrand your instance of Obot to match your company's colors, logos, and icons. This will really let you customize exactly how your users view Obot. Next, I want to talk about a UX overhaul. Now, if you're using Obot as an admin, you might not notice too many changes, but there are subtle usability improvements. For example, directly from this MCP server page, I can now connect to a server. Once that launches, you'll see the typical connection information, and you'll see right from this page that you're connected and you have all of your options specific to you for that MCP server. Previously, this was just an administrative screen, and to actually connect to a server as an admin, you'd have to go to an entirely different part of the app. That's subtle but useful. Now, where the changes are less subtle is for other roles. So now I'm going to open up a different browser where the user is logged in as just a basic user. And I'm using the light theme here so that you can tell the difference. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that across all user roles, the navigation is similar and it just adapts to the role you have. So a basic user can only deploy servers that have been granted to them through the MCP registry, and they can launch chat. Now let's update this user to a higher privileged role. Next we'll go to power user, and we'll return to that user's UI. And you'll see the UI is changed now so that the user has audit log and usage options, as well as the ability to add MCP servers. So power users are able to deploy arbitrary servers that they write themselves or find on the internet. But they can only use them for personal use for themselves. If we change again here to a power user plus and refresh, you'll see once again the navigation has adapted to the user's role, and we have this MCP registries option. This is how a power user plus or an admin can share servers with other users. So here I have my registry, and you can see I'm granting access to all Obot users and everything in my registry. Once I do that, I can add an entry here. This is typical flow. So if we just add test and we say at model context protocol / server - everything. The next little change you'll notice is I'm immediately asked if I want to connect to the server. So before, this was a two-step process. If I was defining a new server, where I would have to go to a completely different part of the app to connect to one that I had just defined. But we'll skip this for now, and you'll see in the MCP registry that shows up as an option to add to your registry. So once again, this pulls together the user experience. You don't have a separate My Connectors application and a separate MCP Publishers application. You just have a single MCP platform, and then of course the chat experience as well. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is we also updated and overhauled the documentation. We think it's going to be a lot easier for you to follow along in the docs to see all the core concepts of Obot, as well as the key features that you have access to. That does it. Once again, thank you so much for your feedback and support using Obot.